Given the closure of these coal-fired power stations will leave a gap of around 685 megawatts generation capacity, what specific non-coal and non-gas replacement electricity supplies will be implemented to replace the previously unforecast reduction in capacity caused by these closures?
The Minister for Energy.
Excellent question that's related to my portfolio area. I want to thank the Australian Energy Market Operator for their media release yesterday, where they welcomed the decision by the government to make this announcement. And I want to thank Kate Ryan, I think she's the Strategy Manager here in Western Australia, I think that's her correct title, and Daniel Westerman, the Chief Executive Officer of the Australian Energy Market Operator, because we've been talking to them about this decision. And we did it, making sure, like we've carefully planned every other element of this, to make sure that this does fit in to AEMO's expected plan for the future of the Swiss. Indeed, the Energy Market Operator is about to release its next ESU, and we would expect them to make comment, not in detail, but just to acknowledge the government's announcement. So the Australian Energy Market Operator welcomes the decision we've made because they say that it's a sensible, reasonable and practical pathway forward for the retirement of these coal facilities. Because remember, you have to remember that the coal facilities are becoming harder to fit into the system. Now, I'll also point out that another reason that this is being welcomed by the Australian Energy Market Operator is because both the 800 plus megawatts of additional renewable energy generation and 4,400 megawatt hours of additional storage that we're putting into the system is all within the existing footprint of the South West interconnected system. And that's why the Australian Energy Market Operator was so aghast at your plan to build 1,500 megawatts of renewable energy 1,000 kilometres north of Johnston, completely outside the South West interconnected system, because the Australian Energy Market Operator said you would have to build three separate transmission lines.
No, they didn't. I asked them specifically about that.
They said that you would have to build three separate transmission lines to cover their risk of building transmission so far from the grid. So that would have pushed up the cost of that project massively. But not only that, the Australian Energy Market Operator welcomes our decision to build 4,400 megawatt hours of storage, because your proposal was only to build 500 megawatts of battery storage, which was completely and utterly inadequate. There is no possibility of balancing the system with only 500 megawatt hours of battery. And so that's why the Australian Energy Market Operator is so positively supporting our announcements and why they clearly rejected your announcements.
Supplementary question.
Supplementary.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Minister, given the relatively short time frame to these closures, how can the public have any certainty of power reliability post-2030 when you can't provide me with any details of how peak energy demand will be satisfied?
The Minister for Energy.
That statement is not correct.
It is correct.
That statement is not correct. I've just outlined to you how that is to be achieved, and I'll just make that clear. So let's not have this verballing. You're adopting the practices of the member for Vass by getting up and making a statement not supported by what had just transpired. I actually outlined to you why the Australian Energy Market Operator rejects your argument, why the Australian Energy Market Operator says you're wrong. And then you get up and say, you claim that I haven't said what I'd already provided. So as I said to you before, the plan is detailed. It's the result of a long process of consultation involving Synergy, the Energy Policy WA, Western Power and the Department of Treasury and the Department of Premier and Cabinet. It's a careful plan that we know can work. I released it yesterday, member. I don't understand this. I just don't get it. I don't get your behaviour. You just don't listen to anybody. You know, you say Australian Energy Market Operator says that that this isn't a good plan. When they put out a media release to say they welcomed the plan. That you say that others in the industry don't support it when the Independent Power Association put out very positive comments. That you say that it's not a sensible plan, and yet everybody in the industry has already said that it's a sensible plan. So are you saying it's a sensible plan? Yeah, so there you go.
It's a detail of how you respond.
You know, what we have here is on one side, you have the Australian Energy Market Operator, Western Power, Synergy, Energy Policy WA, Department of Treasury and the Department of Premier and Cabinet, giving advice to myself, the Premier and the rest of the Cabinet.
Share it with us.
On your side, you've got you.
Share it with us.
And we think that we should listen to you.
No, I think
well,
you
it's
should
not
share
never
the
going to happen.
detail.
I just want to finish by reminding you, member, of the chaos that you would like to see. The last government tried to get rid of the capacity market. It tried to have Western Australia regulated as part of the national electricity market. Today, the Australian Energy Market Operator, the business you're talking about, suspended the national electricity market. There is currently only one electricity market in Australia. That's the wholesale electricity market here in Western Australia, because the national electricity market doesn't exist anymore because it's been suspended for today.